Guys, let me start off by saying this is probably going to void your warranty with Liberty, but this is not something you need to run and go tell Liberty. If you have a fire or a possible theft with your safe, I find it very unlikely that they are going to line up your serial numbers on your lock itself. There is a possibility, though, that this could run and create issues for you down the line trying to get some warranty stuff done. So be warned that by doing this, you are probably voiding the warranty. Okay. What's going on, guys? This is not a video I planned on making, but yet here we are. This is not going to be super fancy, extra editing. I literally have my phone sitting on a gun bag right in front of me, propped up with my shot timer just so that I can hurry up and try to get this video out and provide the community with a little bit better protection against situations like this. So if you are new to hearing, Libertysafe gave out the backdoor access code to a guy who was just recently arrested in Fayetteville, Arkansas. He was at the January 6th protest 2.5 years ago, and the FBI and local agencies arrested him in front of his business out in public. There is also video that have come out to show that his house was raided, and the FBI and local law enforcement unplugged all the cameras, took all of his footage, unplugged his internet, and took a ton of stuff away from this dude's house. In the process of this, the FBI contacted Libertysafe and asked them for the code to this guy's safe. FBI supposedly sent Libertysafe a document that entailed that they did in fact have a warrant. Now, if that warrant included being able to open locked boxes, that we do not know. As far as I know, and the little bit of litigation and law that I do know, usually that is a separate warrant that the enforcement agency has to acquire. So more than likely, in my guess, that was not part of this original warrant, and you have Libertysafe prematurely giving out a code. Now, eventually Libertysafe's, or even maybe during this situation, Libertysafe's hands could have been tied legally with the warrant and had to have given out this information. It doesn't go without saying that this is deeply disturbing and deeply disheartening to see such a big public pro-2A acting company all willy-nilly giving this information up. So being a previous safe salesman, I have a little bit of knowledge that I can forward to you guys that I think will at least allow you guys to add a layer or two of security and remove Libertysafe or even some of your other gun safe manufacturers from being able to give that backdoor access code to the feds and make it just a little bit harder for them to get in. Okay, so enough about the spineless cowards that Liberty have brought to light that they are. Let's talk about locks, different locks, and we're going to actually change out a lock so that you guys can see the entire process all in this one video. Now, you can buy locks from Securam. Securam is the style of lock that Liberty uses currently. They have been using Securam locks for at least 5 years, I think, and they are still using them on all their safes today. Securam has 3 different lock styles that Liberty uses. You have, number 1, a top-lit lock. That means that your light is on the outside of the keypad here on the top. It usually has this little extra ring on it that comes off, and your 9-volt battery is tucked in. This is kind of the first level of lock here, top lit. The next step up would be your backlit lock. So you still have the light up here, but all the keypad numbers light up as well. This is a little bit better quality. Then the last one that we used was the Pro Logic. This one is the high-end lock. So usually this is on a Franklin, a Fat Boy Extreme, or better. This allows you to put multiple codes in. You have a digital readout here so that you can see a lot of the stuff you're doing. You have a ton of other encryption settings and all that stuff. But 3 different locks, they all work on 9-volt, and they all pretty much hook up the exact same way into your safe. Now, before we show taking apart a lock and putting a new one on, you guys should all know that these have serial number stickers on here. Now, I've looked everywhere to try to confirm. I do not see that number that's on this white sticker and this blue sticker anywhere on this circuit board in here. I actually have one that's apart over here, and I was trying to see if it had a permanent serial number in the board compared to just these kind of temporary stickers that you could easily just rip off or color out. A lot of people are having a hard time understanding that all these locks come with a backdoor access code. That backdoor access code is a different code for each individual lock that Liberty and Securam puts out. That code is known by nobody but the manufacturer unless there is a problem. So for example, we had a couple of safes that locked out on us in our actual warehouse because the locks went bad. And they went bad in a sense that 1 or 2 of the numbers on the keypad did not work. So in my head, I was like, oh God, please don't let the backdoor code include one of those 2 numbers, because if it did, the code wouldn't work because the keypad doesn't work, and we would then have to drill out the safe or the lock and then replace it that way. So the backdoor access code is different for each individual lock, and that code is only stored by Liberty or Securam. So nobody knows that code. You guys don't even know that code. You guys get a default code when you buy your safe. Every single electronic lock that came into us was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 default code. Every single one of these has a different master backdoor code, okay? So to get that code, you have to be of a certain standing within that company that would need it. And it is a little bit of a process. So it's not like you can just call Securam and Libertysafe and say, hey, I need my backdoor access code, my safe ain't working. You normally have to prove some sort of identity, and that it is actually you and your safe to accomplish that. So it's not like anybody can just call Liberty or Securam, get this code and get into your safe, okay? And one thing that was mentioned was that all these have a unique single uniform code as a master overall universal code that gets them people into this. This is not the case. That would be a huge liability on the lock company, and all it would take is one disgruntled employee to have that code and to leak it online, and now everybody's digital lock has a single uniform code that can be used. So that's just silly. That's not the case. Every single master backdoor code is different, and you have to have proper certification or identification to get that from the manufacturer or your safe company. So yeah, aside of that. Now, before we jump over to the replacement digital lock here, there's a couple other things we need to sneak in. Number one, if you guys have a mechanical lock, I have changed several mechanical locks in my day. I will tell you, from the ATM stuff to the gun safe stuff, mechanical locks fucking suck. They suck really bad because there is a ton of extra little details that you have to get just right to get that lock to work properly. So my suggestion would be call a local gunsmith, a local locksmith, and have them come out and change the code for you to something that you choose. If you choose a mechanical code, especially on we're just talking Libertysafe in general, if you change that code, Liberty now does not have that code in their system. It's going to void your warranty because they can't get into your safe and to replace it, but you have eliminated Liberty having that code that if the feds call, that they can immediately say like, oh yeah, here's this manual combo. Okay, so you have the option with the mechanical lock as well. There are a bunch of YouTube videos on how to change these. Even the knowledge and experience I had, the last 3 mechanical locks I changed, it took 2 or 3 locks together to piece together to make them work properly. Liberty sends safe with a mechanical lock already installed, and that installation is normally very good. So a lot of times I didn't even want to remove a mechanical lock because even installing a new one, they never seem to work quite as well as the factory. So I highly suggest, guys, call a certified local locksmith and have them come in and change your mechanical lock for you. You will need to have a change key, and they do not just give those out to a random person. You can probably find them on eBay and Amazon if you're lucky, but those change keys usually require you to have some sort of credential or title associated with your name and your business that you would need that, okay? So mechanical locks, real quick, guys, let's show you kind of what they look like. This is how the front of a mechanical lock is going to look for a Liberty. And on the back, you got all these extra things that you have to line up. You have to get this lined up properly, set inside this tooth. You have to have the change key. And you also have these little bitty L-shaped retention keys that keep everything together. So going from a front and a back and a battery to roughly probably 15 pieces or more for a mechanical lock would make even the most experienced locksmith a little agitated, a little nervous, because I know how bad these suck. I know how much they don't want to work, even with brand new ones right out of the box. So listen to me when I say don't try your mechanical lock yourself, because I don't want you guys getting locked out when you could have just called a locksmith, okay? So listen to my word here. Mechanical locks suck. They are very hard to work with. Please call somebody that's certified. And I'm not the one to call, so just so everybody knows. But mechanical locks, they have a couple of different versions. They all pretty much work the same exact way with the same exact back, okay? So mechanical locks, pain in the ass. They are possible to change. Just have somebody do it for you, okay? Another thing. So when I worked with the ATM company, we had a wide variety of digital locks we used as well. I have come to realize that a lot of those locks will actually work with Libertysafes. What you are looking for here, guys, is a particular setup on the back of the lock itself, okay? The front of the lock, it can be kind of, let's say, engineered to work if it doesn't set, but most of these are pretty universal to where the front face of the digital lock sets on 2 screws that are resting on top or in the front of your safe screwed in, and this kind of just snaps into place. So to get your lock off, all you literally have to do is hit really hard from the bottom. It should unlock them from those 2 screws, and you should have this plugged into the inside of your safe, okay? So then you can kind of have it like hanging here, and then you can unplug this cord from the inside. But what we were looking for, this is the back of this Pro Logic lock right here, okay? It has the little trigger that when the bar comes down after the safe code has been entered in, this will push in, gaining you access to the safe. What we were looking for here with different locks is these 3 different holes. This is a lock from a ATM safe. You'll notice the holes are in the same exact place, which means that this would work on a Libertysafe with the way that it is mounted, okay? I don't have a whole list of all these locks that are available, but I do know that there is multiple out there that will work. S&G, Lagarda, and Kaba style locks should all work with the Libertysafe type of mounting setup, okay? So now that we've talked about all the fine details, let's actually change a lock out so that I can show you how easy this is. All right, guys, so looking at my safe here, as you can see, I do not have Libertysafes, but they are exactly the same type of mounting that Libertysafes are. So I know telling you this process is going to work for your Libertysafe. As you can see, I have SecuRAM lock as well. The same exact top lit lock that Liberty uses, it just does not say Libertysafe on the bottom. So same lock mounting options, same exact lock. Let's get into it here. First thing you're gonna wanna do, guys, is put your combo in to where your door is unlocked. I've already done that off of camera because I'm not going to put my code in here on camera for you yahoos, okay? Next thing you're going to see is a door panel that usually has your pistol pockets and all that. Most door panels only have 4 screws holding them in. You got 2 in the top and 2 kind of in the middle here. What I would suggest doing is when you take those screws out, that you put them in a position to where you can put them right back in the same place. A lot of times those screws will end up being proprietary to the hole itself, and I just want your reassembly to go as smooth as possible. And normally they have these little plastic covers over the screw, so if you take a flathead and pop that off, it should expose the Phillips and you can get right to work on removing those. I was able to literally hand remove mine and we'll be able to screw them right back in, so I didn't even need a drill. Once you get the door panel off, it's going to look something like this. This is where we're going to do all the work at, okay? So we have this little trip bar here for your lockout bar. What we're going to do is we're going to lift up on these 2 right here and pull it out of its little groove that it's sitting in. Once we have that propped up, all we need to do is remove these 2 screws and take this piece off. Okay, now that we got the piece off and the 2 screws, now we have the lock itself. I went ahead and removed the 2 bottom screws, but basically there should be 3 Phillips that are holding this lock into place here. So let's remove this. Okay, screws are out, lock is removed. Now you have this little bitty plug here on the back side, so all you should have to do is kind of push your finger on it and kind of lift right out, okay? So now we have the back side of the lock removed. Now all we need to do is go to the front side and with a little force, lift up from the bottom and that's going to bring it off of the 2 screws. All right, guys, got the lock out. If you guys have a Spartan safe or a Valor by Spartan, this is something you're going to want to know. There are 3 little plates here that are just loose kind of behind the locking mechanism. That must have been an extra thing they added. But to instead not rip my cord head off, I had to just kind of put a screwdriver in here, push those up, and allow that to go all the way through without kind of pinching itself, okay? All right, guys, so I got my new lock here just to show you the default code. So I know that this lock is working with the back, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're going to unplug the front. We're going to come back around to the front here, and we're gonna feed our cord back through this hole. Okay, guys, now I have the front face, the new front face here about to go back onto the screws. I have the cord fed through. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that cord tight, set those on the 2 bottom of the teardrops, and kind of snap it into place here, okay? Want to make sure that that cord does not get pinched. Now when we're talking about the back side of the lock, what we're going to do is we're going to take the back side here, and again, you want to remember which way that those handles move, okay? So if we were coming this way, this is unlock. That means this has to go this way to unlock, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to plug this in. What you're going to want to do before you attach this is put your generic default code. Put that in to where you can move that, okay? You need to put that right in the groove. And you're going to notice that there is a little groove on the back side of each of these in case the orientation is different to fit this actual cord behind it so that you're not actually pinching it, okay? Then your 3 little Phillips screws are going to go right back into place. Okay, that's attached. Now we got this trip bar for the drop lock, okay? How that works, it's got these 2 little screws on the back of the lock. That's gonna sit kind of right in there, and it has a little bit of an angle to where it'll come out and rest exactly where it needs to for that drop bar. And then you'll take your 2 little bars and guide your drop bar right back into the hole that it sits in there, okay? So the lock now is completely assembled back together besides putting the door panel back on. And to confirm, we're going to bring the handles out. Okay, so the safe is locked open. Do this with your safe open just in case something went wrong, okay? Default code works. The bars are in, they're moving freely, and with most of these electronic locks, guys, you got about a 5 to 10 second delay before it will automatically lock itself once you move the handle. You could kind of hear a little that means it is going to lock once you put the handle back in the lock position, okay? But to change the lock code, a lot of these are very, very simple. It's either *22, 22*, or 6 zeros to initiate that process. If you guys got a manual with your safe, I suggest you take a look at that to make sure you do it right the first time and don't accidentally set a code to where that you don't know what it is and that you lock yourself out. But before you shut this and lock it, try the code that you've changed it to 2 or 3 times to make sure that everything is working just right, okay? At that point, all right, guys, so I'm on the SecuRAM website here. The locks that Liberty uses are the SafeLogic Top Lit, the Pro Logic, and then they have one other one that is the backlit SafeLogic as well. This looks a little bit different than the one that I am normally used to, so they might have done some upgrades, but I believe it's this one, and this one that Liberty uses for all models of safes, okay? So you got SafeLogic Top Lit, SafeLogic Backlit, and Pro Logic L01, okay? So 3 different lock styles, and the pricing is $60, $108, or $142. If we go over to eBay, you can find a whole bunch of new and used ones that should work just fine. Just remember, you want to kind of stick with those 3 if you're buying a SecuRAM, because we know for sure that those will work with the Liberty mounting setup that Libertysafes have, okay? I will try to link each one of these individually in the description so that you guys know directly from SecuRAM which ones you guys need to get. So we have everything on, guys. One thing you guys need to consider, like we said before, is that this is probably going to void your safe warranty, at least the lock warranty that your safe comes with, okay? Now, we did all of this, but SecuRAM probably still has a master code for the lock that you have purchased, or if that you got off eBay or any of that stuff, right? Or even the lock manufacturer if you choose to go with a different one. And guys, Liberty does absolutely keep the master code for your digital lock as well as your combination lock in their system, stored for potential lockout purposes. I don't think their intention was to just willy-nilly give this stuff over to the FBI, but now we have kind of inevitably came to the downside of having this type of system in place. It works really well when you forget your combo, a family member passes, or you buy a safe that you can't get into and you can prove ownership and purchase from the owner or whatever. But this is a very, very bad downside to this little perk that Libertysafe has in their locks themselves. So to add that extra layer, you guys all have serial numbers that are found on the back side of the front face of these locks. So it's usually a blue sticker and a white sticker here. Just peel those off. They're just stuck to the back. And from my taking apart of these locks and working on them, I have never seen a permanent serial number on the circuit board or anywhere etched inside the lock itself. There are only stickers on these things. And those stickers are the only thing that ties this lock to that master code that it has to unlock it. So if you eliminate those stickers and those serial numbers, now nobody knows what that serial number is, and it would be an extremely long guessing game to figure out what that master code is because every master code is different. So remove them on the back of this. You also will have them on the back side of your lock as well if you're changing that out. So go ahead and replace, or not replace, cover up or remove all these serial number stickers if you are trying to add that extra layer and prevent your safe manufacturer or your lock manufacturer from being able to provide the feds with that backdoor access code to get into your safe and to take your property. So I think this video ended up being a little bit longer than I wanted, guys. There is a lot of information packed into this. If you have any questions, don't hesitate, ask down below. I'm here to help the community as much as possible, especially when incidents like this happen. We have to come together. We have to be heard, because I think you're going to see some changes made in the gun safe community because of Libertysafe's fuck up. And if not, then we have a serious discussion we need to have about who we are trusting to put our stuff into storage to protect it from situations like this. So one last big FU to Libertysafe. I had already had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth because of my previous employer and the way that they kind of just overnight ended the dealership with all that. But this is un-American, uncalled for, and a direct bending of the knee to the tyrannical crown that we have now in control. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and as always, stay alert, stay alive, and get you a new safe lock, guys, because Libertysafe sure as hell doesn't have your back.